Welcome to Resting Binge Face, where two friends binge watch seasons of TV shows and we talk about it. I'm Adam McCoy.
And I'm Amanda Kathleen. Adam and I work in TV. We watch a butt ton of TV. If we had dementia, we would just constantly be rewatching TV.
Have you checked out the show? I've never seen it before. It's amazing.
What is it? What is it called? Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
Wow, I wonder what that's about.
Yeah, it looks good.
I feel like if we had dementia, we would just constantly be rewatching Game of Thrones. Yeah.
And Perfect Strangers.
No. Only Adam. So this week we are binging True Detective Season 3. It just ended this Sunday.
Yeah, just completed.
This is a fresh season. And if you're wondering why we just didn't watch it as it went on, it's because that's not our style.
Do you know what the definition of binge means?
We need to watch it all in
That's
a 24-hour period. Mm-hmm. So we waited for the last episode, and then we binged the crap out of it.
There you go. We need sleep deprivation.
Yes.
Too much food.
Yes.
And watch the whole thing.
We do it for you.
That's right. So you don't have to.
Yeah. So Adam's going to drop some knowledge on us now.
Yes. So this is the third season, and we've watched the first two. Mm-hmm. Again, this season was headed up by Nick Pizzolatto.
Pizzolatto. Apparently he's Italian or something.
Yeah, or...
Pizzolatto.
He wanted to make it sound like that, so he changed his name.
Oh, okay.
So after the events of season 2 and how not well received it was, HBO still wanted to continue.
Right.
They were like, hey, we want to work with you. But it wasn't guaranteed it was going to be True Detective. They wanted to do something with him.
Right.
So he was like, sure, I'll work with you guys. But when he first started this, he didn't think it was going to be a season of True Detective. He thought he was just writing like a story for a movie or something else. And I wasn't through about halfway through. He's like, I think this could be a True Detective. So it wasn't originally designed to be, which the first one was not either.
Yeah, I know.
The only one that was destined to be a True Detective season was season 2. So maybe it's a good thing when he doesn't try to write.
Right. Just try to write a novel.
And so also this time, though, HBO said, we want you to do another season, but why don't you bring in somebody else to help write?
Oh.
So that was part of the caveat. If they wanted somebody else. I don't know if he liked that very much. So he got some help writing, but also he got to step into the directorial position.
Yeah, I saw that when I was watching. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's when I noticed somebody else wrote an episode. I'm like, wait, there's another name up there. They didn't give him full control.
Right.
So he directed episodes 4 and 5 of the season.
Okay.
And then some other writers helped write a few of the episodes.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Share the wealth.
What I think is interesting, another point, that actually makes me not like the show as much.
Ooh.
Maybe it's why I had an issue with it a little bit.
Oh.
When he originally wrote the show, it was not originally intended to have a black actor in the lead role.
It wasn't. I know. I read
and so
Mahershala
he pushed for it,
yeah,
which is cool. He's like, hey, I want to do something about this. Listen to me. And so one of the things he did was he sent a picture of his grandfather, who was a police officer, to the writer, like in uniform. Like, look.
That's adorable.
Yeah. And it worked. So it's cool. I love that they got him for the role. But for me, I think the whole racial part of it seemed like an afterthought.
Well, I read an article. I'm going to drop some knowledge on Adam right now.
Well, what?
I read an article when they were talking to Mahershala and Stephen Dorff. Stephen Dorff. He's not a dwarf.
No.
He's a dwarf.
Dwarf. What a dwarf.
They're talking to them about, their characters and their friendship throughout the show. And apparently Mahershala was supposed to be Roland's character.
They wanted him, as this.
And obviously he pushed for Wayne to be the lead.
Okay.
But what's interesting is that Mahershala said that there's some stuff about race in it, but it's not the lead in the show.
It's not.
Because that's how life is. Like, you don't know, did he get fired or demoted because of his race or because he's not a good cop? And he said that's pretty much how black people live their lives. Is it because of my race, or is it because I'm not good at doing something?
Okay.
So I thought that was very smart. Like, I was like, oh, that makes total sense.
I can see that.
Right.
But also I think it seemed to me like it was written where you had these moments of that with race. And then in the very same scene, right when that part of the dialogue ended, it went right back to being like, oh, we never even mentioned race before this. Like that dynamic
Right.
between
I think
people.
they meant for it to be like
Okay.
a like just a thing that's out there because that's how life is. Like there's just this thing of race out there.
Okay.
So that was my little semi knowledge drop for Adam. Continue, please.
No, that was it.
That's it?
Yeah, you finished it out strong.
Oh,
Way to
finishing
go.
strong. So that was drop knowledge with Adam and Amanda.
That's right. A cooperative effort.
Woohoo. So this is your spoiler warning. If you haven't seen season 3, I would say go see it. It's very good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
So much better than season 2.
You can just literally watch season 1, skip season 2, and then watch season 3. It's
yeah,
like,
that's all you need.
yeah. If you just watch season 1 and season 3, it's like season 2 never happened.
Yeah. Essentially, it didn't. Yeah.
So please go watch it. You can listen to us talk about it, but, please watch it. It's very good.
It's very good.
Yes. Okay. Overview of. So season 3 starts off very similar to season 1, where it's in different timelines.
Yes, and it starts off with an interview.
It starts off with an interview, but the interview's in the middle timeline. So there's 3 different timelines. There's 1980 when the crime happens.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's
1990,
which is a follow-up of said crime.
Mm-hmm.
Is it a crime or is it like a...
Well, yeah, there was a dead body, and
Right. I just don't know if there's like a special word for stuff that's not like stealing or something. I mean,
it's still a crime.
There's homicide and then there's other things. So
An investigation.
In my Rolodex of police talk, it's crime and homicide.
Okay, so this is a crime/homicide.
Sure. Crime/homicide. So it happens in 1980. There's a follow-up in 1990.
And then the present
and then
time.
Present time, which is 2015.
Mm-hmm. And then sprinkled throughout, there's like a 20...
It goes throughout because...
2011.
Well, because...
Around.
Mahershala Ali's character, Wayne, is having dementia. And he's being interviewed by... I have no idea. They don't even talk about what they're there for. If it's a documentary,
it's a film crew.
They
mention the name of the show. It's like crime something. It's something they're doing.
Right, but they're not like
making a murderer. It's
right,
capitalizing
something
on
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
So this woman's interviewing him and like talking to him about stuff happening. So he's remembering the case, similar to season 1, but then he's also trying to remember the case because it's not closed. It's still open. To this day. In 2015, it's kind of closed, but not really. Like, people still think if it's open or not. Well, I'm explaining it.
You feel like it's open, yes.
So he's still working the case with dementia and answering questions from the woman. So you're following the whole timeline intertwined through his brain
Warped
that's
mind
now
of
trying to figure out things. This season is kind of hard to wrap your brain around, but it's not that hard to wrap your brain around. Once you get what's happening,
once you watch the whole season, it literally is just a actual storyline that goes through.
Right.
As you're watching it, they do it Memento style, where it's kind of like forward, backwards.
What's happening?
And you saw one part, but something that you've heard about, and you kind of forget about something happening. You're like, oh, that's how it happened. Now I get it.
Right.
So they kind of slowly give you more information. But once you watch the whole season, you're like, oh, it could be explained like a regular show. You could do it this way.
You could, yeah.
It wouldn't be as entertaining.
No,
but
like it could be that way. But I find it fascinating. Like in season 1, they're doing the interview in the police station, and they're talking back about the past.
What happened? Yeah.
Here, he's like trying to remember stuff. Like he's trying to hold on to something.
Yeah.
And I think I like that more than I think season 1. Because I think it gives it a different depth to it. Because it gives it a more emotional
for his character,
feel.
for sure.
Yeah, for his character.
He's more involved. It's more important to him.
Right. That he remember and that he still worked the case now in his 70s.
Whereas the first season it's important because there's somebody still out there who could be
right. There's someone still murdering people.
This is like a cold case that they still haven't figured out. And it's really eating at him.
Right. So basically, in 1980, 2 kids go missing, Will and Julie, and the dad and the mom are terrible parents.
Yeah, not great.
Not good. They don't come home when they're supposed to. The dad freaks out. They call the cops, and then they start like the child investigating.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And the two detectives that are assigned to it
are Wayne Hayes, Mahershala Ali,
Purple Haze, baby.
and Roland West, who
Mhm.
is Stephen Dorff,
Yeah,
who is great.
I love
by
Stephen
the way.
Dorff.
They're both fantastic together. It's like
They
the
are,
first
yeah.
one.
Yeah, it's a good
like,
dynamic.
They're just great.
Mm-hmm. I just miss Stephen Dorff.
You just miss him.
Yeah, I'm like, I was glad to see him again.
He's hanging on.
Yeah.
He's doing good. So they go out and they look for the kids. And then there's this great backstory of Wayne that he used to be what is it called? Like a trapper or something? Like he's a tracker.
In Vietnam. He was a tracker. They would
throw him
drop
in the jungle.
by himself.
Right.
He could track things and find out where people were and then
Right.
report back. And in his spare time, he likes to hunt boar and track animals.
He still has that tracker
Yeah,
sense.
which is cool to see that part while he's looking for these kids.
Right. So he's looking for the kids and he's doing them tracker style and he's off on his own. And he finds Will, the body of Will.
Yeah.
Like under a rock cave thing.
Got his hands folded like he's praying.
Right. So at this point, it's critical they find the sister. So
Yes, they're worried that,
Yeah.
she could be in danger because they found him already dead. Is it a missing persons case? Is she dead? They're
we
trying
don't
to,
know.
yeah.
We gotta
And
figure it out.
The case really gets to Mahershala Ali's character. Like he's really like vibing for this case.
Right.
He seems to be the most concerned out of anybody,
Right.
even when it first happens.
Right.
So he's like, no, we gotta keep
gotta
going,
find
guys.
these.
We gotta keep going and
We'll
find this
do
girl.
it.
Yeah. So and then we flash forward to the 1990, and it seems like the case is still going on.
Well, there's this guy from the 80s. He was a Vietnam vet, and he like lives by himself, and he goes pick up trash. And some of the locals don't like him because he hangs out with the kids to pick up trash. He's just picking up trash.
He's a well, also he's a Native American guy.
Right.
He's and he's driving around in the go-kart instead of a
Right.
car. He's kind of the guy that everyone notices.
Right.
He does talk to the kids.
You're right.
So everyone's like, it's probably him. Don't
Right.
touch our kids. Leave us, just get out of here.
Just go.
Yeah.
So like these redneck assholes
Mm-hmm.
want to come beat him up, and there's this great scene where they go to his house and he like goes Vietnam vet
Oh,
on
yeah.
them and
Put some
like
landmines out
puts
there.
some traps,
Puts 4 guns
gets all of
out.
his guns out.
He's going to take him out. He knows they're coming at him. He sees them coming at him,
Right.
takes his shoes off, goes barefoot, running back to his house as fast as he can. He's
Right.
like, I'm getting prepared.
Yeah. He's like, it's now. So like the cops show up, Wayne and Roland show up
With some FBI agents
with some
also.
FBI agents, and like shit goes down.
Guy kicks the door, landmine goes off, boom, this massive
Ugh.
firefight. This is where Stephen Dorff's character gets shot.
He gets
That's
shot in the leg.
Why he has a limp later on,
Yeah. In case you're wondering.
in case you're wondering. Yeah, so a lot of people die.
A lot of people die.
Almost everybody but Stephen Dorff and
Stephen Dorff and
Purple Haze. Mahershala Ali.
I'm just gonna call him Ali.
Mahershala is easy.
I know Mahershala is easy, but like my mumble mouth is not gonna say it
Okay.
correctly, so I'm gonna say Ali.
So they're the only two who survive.
So Dorff. These names are gonna kill me. Dorff and Ali are the only ones alive. Ali goes into the house and like tries to talk him down. He's like, "You gotta shoot me. I'm not going in." And he's like, "I'm not gonna do that." And he's like, "I'm gonna count to 3 and I'm gonna shoot you then." In my head, I'm gonna count to 3 in my head.
So I'm not gonna, yeah.
You're not gonna know. And
So
so,
essentially makes him, instead of killing himself, he makes
Right.
Mahershala Ali's character
yes.
kill him.
So
And then conveniently, after they're going through the crime scene, someone finds the boy's backpack there. And it's
Right.
like, he must have been the guy. And the girl's clothes
and
are
the girl's clothes is like in the
in a furnace.
yeah.
so they're
I
like-
think that they burnt her body or something.
Well, that was an easy case.
Even though the clothes is still there, they definitely burned her body.
yeah, yeah. The bones didn't survive, but
Nope.
that sweater sure did.
For sure.
Yeah. So it was in this is where he
This is in
never
the
he
80s.
never felt like it was he
Right.
pretty much knew that wasn't what happened.
They
but
kind of wanted to close the case. They were just like,
people
whatever,
in the
just
community are
close
scared. Let's
Right.
close the case. And then 10 years later,
it. Right. Oh no. So, in 1980, he meets his soon-to-be wife,
yes, the school teacher at
the
the
school
kids'
teacher Amelia, who helps him with the community, like getting information from them.
And she talks to the kids and gets a lot more information because they won't talk to cops.
Right. So they start getting a thing together, and apparently she writes a book about the whole case once it's finished, and it's published. And so it's coming out in 1990. At the same time, there's apparently fingerprints found at a
Yes.
robbery site at Walgreens.
At Walgreens. And at the time, they didn't have the databases they have currently in 1990. And so
Right.
when they ran this print, they're like, oh, it matches this Julie girl
Who's been
and
missing.
they thought was dead
Yeah.
for 10 years.
So
They're going to open the case back
yeah,
up.
they're going to open it back up. Ali finds that there's footage in Walgreens. He does his tracker thing and goes through hours of footage.
That everyone else seemed like it was a stupid idea. Are you
Right.
going to go through all of that?
He's like, yeah,
Why wouldn't you?
I'm going to do it. I think
Yeah.
they meant like tonight. But
Okay.
He was like, no, I'm going to do it. I'm going to sit
Right
here all
now.
night. So he finds her on the footage and then
Gets the picture out there.
gets the picture out there. She calls in because the dad does like a plea, like, please, if
On
you've seen
TV.
her, call whatever, the police line. She calls the police line and says that her name's Mary.
That's not my dad.
That's not my dad.
Tell him to
He's
stop
lying.
following me.
Yeah.
All this stuff.
So she crazy. And they think that the dad took her or was part of something.
Yeah, they think something fishy is going on.
Right. When really it turns out through the investigation that it's the Hoyts, the Hoyts family that the mom Lucy used to work for at the
Chicken processing plant.
it's like Haygood Foods or something.
Yeah.
I think she was working there, and apparently the main security guy used to work on the force with Wayne and Roland. So they go back and talk to him, and they think that he's got information that he's hiding.
Yeah.
But they find
He's the one who
out-
identified the backpack
right,
originally and kind of conveniently said, oh, it must be this guy. And now he's working for this Hoyt guy.
right,
And they're saying something seems fishy about him.
right. So they
And-
went back to see maybe somebody sent somebody to go shut up Lucy
They check all the phone records.
because her cousin is like
The crackhead.
trying to like get money out of the police and like
Yeah.
it's like somebody was paying Lucy. I'm not gonna say who. You're gonna have to give me money.
This case will be solved. You just pay
Just
me
tell me.
$7,000.
Yeah,
I'm a cheap date. That's all it's
Whatever.
going to cost.
that guy's an asshole. Whatever. So they do that. They go back and they look through records and they find out that the head security guy at the factory went to Vegas the
After
day
getting
before.
8 calls,
Yeah.
having 8 calls with her in Vegas, he flew out there.
Mm-hmm.
Like was the last person to see her, like pretty much right before she died.
Right.
He visited.
They go talk to him and
Then they shoot him.
then they shoot him.
Because
Because he jumps on
Yeah.
Ali and then
So then they have to bury the body, and it
Yeah.
becomes this huge the rift between them.
right.
The
That's
two.
another reference.
So it's like they're together, then apart, then together, then apart.
Then
now
apart
they're
again.
together again.
yeah.
What's going on? And it takes the whole season to really see all these pieces of the puzzle put
Right.
together.
It's very intricate.
Which is what makes it interesting.
right.
But I will say, like at the end, by the end of that, when they tell you exactly what happened the first time
Right.
that they separated, you're like, oh, I kind of forgot. I really don't care anymore.
Right.
Like
I
it's
know.
more important. It's cool. Still cool to see.
Right.
But the dad eventually finds the cousin,
Right.
beats the crap out of him, and says, "Give me
Right.
the information you were going to give the cops." And he gives him the Hoyt name,
Right.
and that's when the dad starts drinking again, breaks into the Hoyt house, and he finds this pink room, and then all of a sudden,
The pink room. Well, they talk about everyone they interview, all the street kids they interview, always talk. Mary talks about the pink room. So
being a princess, she was a
she
princess,
was a
in
princess
a
at a
pink
pink room. So when he gets down there and you see the pink room, you're like, oh, the pink room
And then he gets hit, and it gets blacks out. And the next thing,
Right.
the next episode,
is him dead.
his dead body, like he jumped off this thing with a
Right.
note saying, "I'm sorry for what I did."
Right.
And everyone's like, "Up, another tidy conclusion."
Yep. That's
Now
over.
it's the dad who did it.
Right. So basically, like when they're going over the case again in 2015, Ali still thinks something's wrong.
Yeah, this isn't it what we think it is. Something
Right.
is happening.
Something's
It's eating him up
happening.
inside.
Right. So he gets with old man Steven Dorff again.
Old man Steven Dorff is great. He's got his dogs.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
He's so good. And then they go, and he's like, "You got to help me finish it." Like his wife passed away, Amelia, obviously earlier
Mm-hmm. You don't
before
see it
the
happen,
dementia happened. And then he's like, "I have to do it for her."
Yeah.
Because she would have wanted it because she didn't finish the second part of her book because the big man Hoyt guy took Ali and was like, "You don't talk about nothing." Basically, like, I know you killed my security guard. I don't want you looking in anything further.
Yeah.
Basically.
Be ashamed if something happened to your family.
Right. Like, if you go further than this, I'm gonna kill.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Yeah.
So.
That's Yondu, by the way. Yondu.
Or if you watch The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
I forget his name in Walking
Or
Dead.
Mallrats. He's the dad of Mallrats.
Yeah. He's basically the best character ever.
Yeah.
Which is why it was kind of sad he only had like this tiny part.
He was only in technically one episode, I think.
Right. So old man detectives are on it. So they're
piecing the clues together. Things are falling into
because
place.
The woman from the TV show that's asking him questions is kind of like alluding to things that like spark some things in Wayne's brain that's like, maybe I should investigate this.
He's seeing things that he either doesn't think he knew,
right,
or he has forgotten because he has dementia. So she keeps showing him these things, and it gets him more interested. And he's like, maybe. And so then he does make the connections. He's reading his wife's book, and he's reading things because he never read the book. Because he was in it too much, and he couldn't stand to read his own name.
Right.
So he never actually read the book.
No.
And then he's like, "Damn, if I would have read this,
you probably could have
finished
years ago." I know.
So after he's told to let the case go,
right.
Apparently that's when everything just stopped for him.
Yeah.
He literally just stopped doing the case.
So it really picks back up in 2015 with this.
He's interview. Like, he had an idea
right.
That it was something to do with this Hoyt guy, but he never pursued it.
No.
Because he knew it was going to ruin his life.
Right.
Which ultimately worked out for him because he spent more time with his family.
He did.
He's like, oh, you know what?
He was having a good time.
But
they investigated the entire time this whole case. Everyone, like, not everyone, but like there's talks of like the white woman with the black man with the milky eye. Mm-hmm. So apparently there's new evidence of the black man with the milky eye.
Yeah, they interview an old maid, and she says something. They finally get a name.
There's a sedan parked outside his house every day, and you think he's going crazy the entire time. Like, he just keeps looking out the window at the sedan.
Because it's right after, like, he starts seeing his dead wife.
Right.
And then these Vietnam soldiers are behind him in the room, and it's kind of creepy.
There's some nice, like, moments.
Yeah. And so you're like, oh, there's not really a sedan out there because maybe he's just imagining it all.
Right.
Because earlier in the case, there was mention of a brown sedan.
Right. So you think that he's seeing a sedan.
He's just seeing an updated version. He's going, a little more insane in the head.
So Roland comes over one night and he's like, that car's out there. He's like, and then he goes out with a bat and he's like, come on, let's do this.
Little did he know, Roland was down there with his cell phone taking a picture of the license plate.
So Roland's got buddies in the DMV, and so they run the plates and they find out that it's the guy with the milky eye.
What a coincidence. Is when it all starts to... This is the last episode.
This is when it all unravels.
It all makes sense.
So they go there and they talk to him, and he's like, I can't be quiet anymore.
He's like, I've been waiting for you guys.
Right. So he explains to them that he worked for the Hoyt family.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Hoytman's daughter went crazy after her husband and daughter...
Died in a car crash.
She,
went crazy.
Right. She, legit went crazy. Mm-hmm. So she saw...
One day at a company picnic, saw Julie and
she's like, that's my daughter.
Looks
that's
just
Mary.
like Mary.
Yep.
And
so they started hanging out after school.
Like, hey,
they were paying Lucy to go hang out with them.
Junkie mom, can we pay you so this adult can hang out with your two kids?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
That's fine. Can I have some money? Yeah,
right.
Great. So they're playing with. That's who was playing with the kids out in the woods.
Right.
Out in the forest, and that's when they find out that crazy lady went a little too crazy one day and tried to grab Julie. And when the brother tried to stop her, she pushed him down. And he hit his head on the rock, and he died. So it was technically an accident.
Right.
And Julie's like, we gotta put him. We can't just leave him here. She's the one who helps put him in the cave with his hands folded like he's praying. And then they just take her.
Leave her in this pink room. She can't leave.
And the milky eye guy's like, you know what? She liked it here, and she was fine.
And then he found out later that she was giving her lithium.
The mom with
she was making her go crazy.
The crazy lady was putting lithium in the girl's drink. So for like 10 years, she was just getting on these medication that was making her brain a little loopy.
And so and then she gets older, and at one point he just lets her.
Leaves the door open. And then she escapes, and he really can't find her after that. He thought he could meet up with her and save her.
That was in around 1990. So he's looking for her at that point.
Yeah.
And then he finds her in 1997 at this nun's place, but apparently she's dead because of AIDS.
Yes.
But he found her finally. So
Yeah, and they
he told him
find
all this.
yeah.
And
Then they go back and they see the gravestone.
so Wayne and Roland go back and they look too, and they're like, okay, well, at least it's kind of an end.
Closure.
Right.
We know what happened.
And then he runs into the landscaping guy. His name is Mike, and his daughter's name is Lucy.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. And then he goes back home and he reads his wife's book again, and he finds a passage about Mike, who is Julie's friend from elementary school.
Who dad had a landscaping business.
Mm-hmm.
And then he starts putting the pieces together, and he's like,
wait a minute.
Wait a second.
Maybe, well, he has this, like, he's thinking about it, but his wife is explaining it to him.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like her spirit's there or something. And she's like, what if she went to the nun's place, but she, like, wasn't, like...
The nun saw how much trouble she was in,
right.
and they faked her death.
Right. So
That's
she
probably
could
what
have
happened.
a happy life with Mike. So Wayne goes by himself in a car.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my God, this old man's driving a car.
Didn't write any of it down, by the way.
No.
Like, I think that this may be what is happening.
Right.
I'll just write the address down and drive.
Yeah, so he just goes to the address and then forgets why he's there.
Yeah. He sees her.
He sees her. He has to ask her where he is.
Yeah.
So his son can come pick him up.
Call the son and give the address. So the whole time you're like, she's right there.
I know. And then it basically ends with he's back at his son's house and they're just having a grand old time.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
Stephen Dorff comes, old man Dorff comes, rocks on the front porch.
Yeah.
The only thing that's a little bit of like, maybe something's going to happen is his son, who's now a police officer, he sees the piece of paper that had the address on it, and he doesn't throw it away. He puts it in his pocket. So, like, maybe he'll investigate
Maybe
later.
he'll investigate it later.
Yeah. And that's how it ends.
And that's how it ends. It's a very intricate story, but
there's a lot of stuff we left out.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we left out, especially with the wife and the family and everything.
If you haven't seen it and you listen to us, you'll still get a lot of stuff.
You will. We just basically told you the good parts.
Yeah. I was intrigued, especially a few times whenever he was doing the flashback scenes, and they did a lot of this in the editing. Sometimes he'd be walking at a certain age, and when you see a reflection of him, he's at another age. And then in his head, he was going through some scenes, and he opened the bedroom door,
right?
And he saw himself at a young age with his wife, and then while they're in bed with the kids,
right?
And then the young version looks at the door and sees the door open with nobody there. And there's the same thing with a chair. It's interesting. It was kind of like,
It's an interesting woven story, how they weave the story together. Yeah. I think it's very well done.
That's why I was wondering if it was going to end ultimately with like just one type of story, that he made all these alternate timelines of the same event. Because they're all kind of similar. He breaks up with his partner.
Right.
You know, they get somebody who's not the right person. The next 10 years, he breaks up with his partner.
Right.
He gets somebody who's not the right person. Like, I was thinking, is there some sort of weird thing where he's, only one thing ever happened and he's somehow imagining
like
these other
reliving.
timelines? Because they're all very similar.
Right.
His character doesn't change that much until the very end.
No.
Like, even the way he fights with his wife or the girlfriend at the time, very similar each time. So it's like, I was like, oh, maybe it's some sort of weird, he's in the same...
Trapped in
it's
something.
all in his head.
Yeah.
But maybe it wasn't all in his head.
I don't know. Maybe it was.
Maybe none of it existed. Yeah.
I liked it. I liked the time intertwining. I liked the fact that it was because of dementia. I thought that was great. I thought it was different from the first season.
Yeah. Because if he never got dementia, he probably just would have stopped caring. I think he knew that it was the Hoyt guy somehow.
Right.
I got to let it go.
He's doing this interview because he feels like it's helping him remember like his life and his wife, and like holding on to that past as much as possible.
Yeah.
Because it's going away. So I really enjoyed that.
There were some things that I think were a little like the whole. I think it was all to try to throw you for a little bit of a misdirection. Like you never saw his daughter.
No.
He always kept asking about Becca, his adult daughter.
The entire time I'm like,
she's out of town.
Dead? Is she dead? And they're not telling him.
They never make. It's like, yeah, you talked to her last week, remember?
Right.
I'm like, oh, I think she's dead. And
that's what I was thinking.
And they flash back. That's why they flash back randomly to him dropping her off at college.
Right.
And then it's like, okay. And then in the last episode, hey, here I am, Dad. That didn't matter at all. And you just threw it in there. So.
But I feel like it's kind of fun for them to do that because you're in their mind.
Yeah.
Like you're in his mind, and it just randomly will go to a thought. And you're like, does this thought go to anything? I don't know. Maybe it does. Maybe it shows his character a little bit. I don't know. I thought that was fun.
Do you have any pet peeves?
Do I have any pet peeves? I think I wrote something down.
I have one that's kind of major, but kind of not.
What's your pet peeve?
I didn't like Purple Haze, Mahershala's character all that much. I don't think he was that until he got to be an old man. I don't think he was a likable character.
He's not, but like...
He didn't, I mean, like, pretty much, he had like a few moments,
Right.
but he was kind of a dick the whole time to everybody.
Right.
Like, to everybody. And maybe it's because the war, you know, kind of changed the way he thought.
Right.
But the whole relationship between he and his future wife.
Right.
It was just kind of like, I don't know, it seemed...
Well, this is my take on it. I think because, like, in the first episode, he says he's dead set. Like, he's not going to get married. He's not going to have kids.
Yeah.
That's not his. That's not him. And he's just being himself the entire time in the 1980s. And then he gets what he finally realizes he wants to marry Amelia.
After they get in this huge fight.
Right.
And then it's like,
and he's like,
get
what
out.
am I doing?
But wait, now marry me.
But it's like he had the fight, but then I think he realizes, is that the person I want to be still? That asshole person?
Yeah.
And then I think he sees that he could be something more.
That's
and
true.
Then he's like, and then he gets married.
But then 10 years later, he's still the same person.
Right, because I don't think he really grasped the whole family thing.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he understood, like, this is a family. You have to be more...
Work at it.
Yeah, you have to work at it. You have to be more in it. I don't think he was just like, okay, we get married and that's it, right? Then that's a happy family. So he takes him a while to actually change. And I think that moment when Old Man Hoyt gets him and is like, look, I want to kill your family, whatever, if you don't stop.
That's what changes him, yeah. I mean, when
he realizes, okay, I got to stop. And I think that at that point, he lets, like, the family thing.
He embraces it.
He embraces
essentially embraces it,
yes.
yeah.
And I think that's why Old Man Ali is a better character because...
Yeah. Or even when they flash back to him at college, helping her at college.
Yeah.
A little bit.
And I think that's why. I think you're supposed to see him not change and then have his old man character be better.
That's fine. But, I mean, it could have thrown a couple likable qualities into it. I mean, really.
I mean, that's why Steven Dorff is there.
Yeah. He's all personality.
Yeah.
That's the, I mean, that's the only complaint I have.
Right.
That and my original thought of, like, the kind of, again, what you alluded to, but how starkly the racial thing came up, and then just now the rest of the conversation. It just seemed like even the way it was written, it's like, well, now we're just going to write it like, you could have taken the racial conversation part of it out of it entirely.
Right.
Like those little clips, and then butter the other two parts of the conversation together, and it would have been completely coherent. There wouldn't be any...
Yeah, but I kind of like the way Ali explained it in the article, where he was just like, it's just there. It's just a part of Black people in general. Like, is it a race issue or is it a non-race issue? Like, it's just ambiguous and it's just there. You'll never know. Yeah. It's just a part of their lives, which I thought was very interesting. And I thought that was very well done then, thinking back on it. Mm-hmm. I do remember one pet peeve that I have. I do not like that they brought up that his son was cheating on his wife with the interview woman. Mm-hmm. I was like...
you didn't need that.
That didn't even need to be there. You didn't even touch on it at all. If it was meant to be like...
No, they did, though. Because at the end, when he's talking to his dad about it,
right?
He's like, I think I'm going to tell her. And he's like,
but he said, don't tell her.
Yeah. I think that's reflecting that's because that's the way he lived. Like,
I
didn't tell her that I killed somebody and that
but I still don't like it.
I gave up my job, essentially my first job, because his then girlfriend wrote this article in the paper, and that's why he lost his job originally. It turns out he would not sign a letter saying, look, she took this out of context. None of it's true. Right. You can either do that or you can go to desk duty and just be a typist for the police department.
I know, but I still didn't like it.
He never told her that. I know. I'm not saying it's great.
I get that's part of the character, but if that had never happened, we still would have understood his character of why he didn't, he kept it from his wife. Mm-hmm. Like, it's fine.
I totally, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just...
That's like being nitpicky, though. Like, this season was very good. I think I like it more than season 1.
I'm not going to go that far.
I am.
It's on par.
It's on par.
And I think, again, and I didn't bring this up last time about season 2. I think the reason I like season 1 better, the victim you didn't care about. Right. And there was no pressing, like, oh, they got to find out who it was, because you're finding out for horrible people in the second season. Like, why do I care? Right. The first one was, hey, something's still happening. We got to find out because this killer could be out there.
Right.
In the third season,
In the third season, it's like you.
it's just more you want to find out. You're interested in it.
Right. But like the entire time you're watching it, you're thinking this is a closed case, but you're still invested in the story.
Mhm.
Like, you know, they're not going to solve it, but you're still there with them. And
Yeah, you want to find
very
out.
intrigued.
Because they have all these threads they start pulling, and you got to
Right.
figure out where each of them lead.
Right. So I really liked that.
Yeah, I just still think I liked one a little bit better.
Wow.
Although, Steven Dorff, man,
Stephen Dorff,
he really pulled it over for
his
me.
character was like the redneck version of Confucius. Like, he was
He
like
wasn't
the
even that
wise.
redneck, though.
No, but I'm just saying, like, in
Yeah.
general, he was like the, the wise Southern white
Mhm.
dude that was just like Ali would have a problem and he would just be like, it's cool, this happened. Like,
Yeah.
he was definitely like a McConaughey of the
Yeah,
season. Like,
water off the back, just
Yeah.
do this.
like, I was like, wow, that was wise.
My favorite scene of his, though, had to be the last episode when he gets in the fight at the biker bar and just starts insulting that woman.
I know. He was just like, that's at the point where they kill that guy, the security guy. And
Yeah.
I think he just like at that moment just like doesn't want to feel anything.
Mm-hmm. Well, and then essentially those two were done
Right.
with each other. Like,
Like,
they're not going to talk to each other anymore.
Like, his Stephen Dorff's character is good because basically he looks like a loner, but he doesn't want to be alone.
Hence the 25 dogs at
Right.
when he's in his elderly
So
years.
it's because Ali was his best friend,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and like he lost him, and so like he was having problems. Like,
Yeah. And so that's why he was able, like, at the end when they
Mm-hmm.
made contact again, he's like, yeah, we can forget all this happened. I'll come stay with you a couple nights a week.
and I just want to say that if they if they make a spin-off of True Detective, it better be Mahershala Ali and Stephen Dorff, old man detectives.
That would be a great
That
show.
was the best part.
That was good.
The old man going.
Old man cops.
Every time they had a scene, they would be like cranky, talk about stuff.
If they don't
it was
win,
great.
I know the first season they won
Best
an
makeup
Emmy
again?
Award for
Oh,
this
the
was
makeup was
insane how good it was.
Awesome. It was so good.
It was really, really good.
It was very good.
I couldn't, like, when you saw Mahershala, I mean, most of the time you see people in old makeup.
Right.
It's like, okay, but they both could have passed. Like, if you just
Oh,
saw them
yeah,
in a
yeah,
movie,
yeah.
you'd be
No,
like,
no,
oh,
no.
that's an old 70-year-old man.
They look like old dudes, and they
Mhm.
had the voices down.
Yep, even the
had
way they walked.
The lower voice down. Yeah. They were fantastic.
That was great.
I was like, this needs to be a show.
Yeah,
Old man detectives.
that's a great idea. Yeah.
I have to see this. So, favorite episodes then?
Favorite episode has to be the one with the firefight.
The firefight.
The firefight was just so
that
intense.
was good.
And plus, they led up to it. The one, like, it ended the episode
Mhm.
before. The guy kicks the door down,
Right.
and you see a landmine right there, and then it just cuts to black.
You know what's really interesting? I wrote down my favorite episodes, and I say episode 1 to 3, and then jump back to 6 to 8. Honestly, if they got rid of like 4 and 5 and just smushed
Well,
all
4 and
of
5
the
are what he
other-
directed too. So
I know, but like it's not his. It may not be his directing. Maybe the story of it. It was
Yeah.
just a little too long or something.
Well, again, it's one if he wasn't planning it as a series to begin with, it may
Right.
have been on a little bit too long.
Right.
Some of the ones, but
But I find that fascinating now. That I think the two that I don't like as much.
yeah, I do think the old man detective parts, those two together, were
They're
some pretty
so
good.
good.
Those are great because it's kind of like this. Oh, we're back together, old times, and
Right.
with a whole new caveat of them.
It
being old.
is.
And they're like, what is it? One scene they break when they go into the White House.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, "Are you sure we should be here?" And Dorf's like, "We're old men.
We'll just say we
we're
got
lost."
lost.
It's great. Yeah,
It was fantastic.
I like that a lot.
So bingeability.
Bingeability on this one. I'm gonna go. I'll go 4.5 on this one.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's
I'll
a
go 4.5,
high Adam
yeah.
score. Yeah, I was gonna go 5.
Yeah,
It's our
That's-
both.
that's
it's our
about
high
like-
scores.
yeah.
They fluctuate
It's definitely more bingeable than the second season for sure,
for sure.
and probably even more than the first, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a little bit more bingeable than the first one,
Yeah.
which I think is why I'm leaning towards liking season 3 more.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't say that I don't like season. Like, I feel like they're the same quality.
Yeah, we're just opposite ends of the spectrum.
Right.
We're both like they're both great. I
Right.
just prefer one a little more.
Right.
You prefer 3 a little more. That's
Yeah.
fine. So I thought I'd mix it up a bit today
Ooh.
for Stump Amanda.
Uh huh.
because of the actors in this. So
Okay.
I'm going to give you some of the main actors in this, and you're going to tell me which comic book universe they've been in movies for.
Oh,
All right?
okay.
So the first one is Mahershala Ali. Do you think it was a DC or a Marvel? You should know one of these.
Farts. I'm gonna say DC.
Oh, sorry.
Damn it.
It was Marvel and two.
Oh, it was Luke Cage.
Yep, there you go.
Fuck.
He was in Luke Cage.
All right.
He played Cornell Cottonmouth Stokes.
I know he was good in it until he died, and I was like, damn.
But he also did a voice in the new movie Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. He plays Uncle Aaron.
I think I remember hearing that.
All right, so.
Okay.
All right, well, the next character then, Stephen Dorff.
Steven
You've got to know this one. You may be too young.
Oh, farts. DC? I'm just going to say DC
Nope.
for everyone.
Marvel.
What did
because
he do in Marvel?
He was in the first Blade with Wesley Snipes.
Oh.
He was one of the vampire hunters.
I would have never gotten
He
that
was
one.
Deacon Frost.
Oh,
One of my
good.
favorite Marvel movies. One of the only Marvel movies that came out in that time.
I would have never gotten that one.
So the father, Tom Purcell, Scoot McNairy, DC or Marvel?
I'm going to go with DC again.
Well, that's a good strategy. Yes. He was in Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. He played
was he in
he played
that?
Wallace Keefe. If you remember the movie, he works at the bank, and whenever they come to attack the city, piece of debris falls on him. He ends up getting his legs
No.
amputated, and
No, I don't remember
he kind of
that.
has a grudge against
Oh.
Bruce Wayne tries to
Right.
like, oh, I'll take care of this,
No,
but
I
okay.
don't even remember that.
All right. Sarah Gadon, who played the documentary producer.
Oh, I know her. I feel like I'm going to say Marvel.
It is Marvel.
And it's a show, right?
Nope.
Damn it.
She was in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which was the reboot with Andrew Garfield.
Oh.
She played
Wow,
Kari,
wow.
who was the computer in the Osborn lab. So
Oh.
when they said Kari, and you would see her face, and she
Right.
would give information.
That movie was dumb. I didn't even finish it.
All right. This is an easy one.
Okay.
Ray Fisher, who played Henry Hayes, which was the son of...
I knew it
Yes.
because I was watching it the whole time. He is DC because Cyborg.
Yep, from the Justice League.
I was like, why is his face so motionless? I've seen it before.
He's like a robot.
Oh, Cyborg.
Yes, that's right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
The last one is... This is not a comic. They made a comic book out of it, but I think it was a one-off.
Okay.
Do you know what Carmen Ejogo, who plays
Oh, the wife.
the wife,
Mhm.
what major blockbuster movie franchise?
I don't know. There's so many blockbuster franchises.
She was in Fantastic Beast, both movies. She plays
Oh, she
Seraphine,
plays
the American version of
right,
Dumbledore.
Right.
So she's the head of the School of Witchcraft in America.
But yeah, she did look familiar.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
the whole time I was like, I know I've seen her, but then I looked her up and I'm like, okay, I guess it's that.
You guess that's her?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go.
All right. You pretty much got me.
I think I like the open-ended questions better, but this was fun.
Well, that leads us into skip the intro.
Bum, bum, bum.
So Adam and I have been complaining the entire time about these intros for True Detective.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, 1 and 2, we would 100% skip. Well, we actually skipped.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask you shows in the detective realm,
Okay.
and you tell me if you would skip the intro or let it play, because some intros are too good to skip.
Okay. All right.
So starting off with True Detective Season 3.
Yeah, I just made it a three-peat. I just skipped it.
You skipped it?
Yeah.
I actually really liked the song that they played in this one because I felt like it was more towards the story. Like it felt
Mm-hmm.
like it was all cohesive. And I just watched the whole thing.
That's good. I did not.
Because I like the graphics and it sucks
Yeah, they
when,
still
the,
look
when the
cool.
songs are like, oh, all right, I'm going to skip this.
Well, yeah, I did not watch it. I would just fast forward it on HBO app.
Right, you don't skip
I
it.
can't- yeah.
You have to fast forward. But I watched it. I thought
Okay.
it was great. They got 1 out of 3 from
There
me.
you go. Yeah. Batting 300. That's 333.
Sure. Next one, Sherlock.
I watched the Sherlock. Yeah.
The BBC
It's not super
version.
long.
It's not.
It's cool.
I enjoy
I
it.
like the way they shoot it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
I let it play. It's on Netflix, so you could skip it.
You
if
could skip that
want
one, but I don't.
to. Classic, and I'm gonna go for all the versions.
Dun dun.
Law and Order.
Dun 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 dun. Dun.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun.
I like that. It brings back a lot of memories. I would probably skip it after. If I'm going on a binge for that one, I'd probably go make it 3 episodes in before I started skipping.
Nah, I listen to it every time.
Okay, all right.
I love Law and Order. All the versions.
All the versions
of Law and Order I love. Okay, throwing it back to the 2000s. Monk.
Which version? The Randy Newman, or the original one that had no lyrics?
I'm gonna say Randy Newman because I like that version better.
I would never skip that one.
No, I love it.
I actually like the original one too.
Yeah, the original one's fine.
I kind of miss it.
I mean, they're similar. It's just the Randy Newman one had lyrics to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a lot of flack if you noticed, like when they changed they got Randy Newman to do a theme song for the show, and people are like, I missed the old instrumental version.
Jesus.
So.
I would watch it every Friday with my mom. When I was in high school. And I made up a dance to it.
Yeah, there you go.
It was fantastic.
I watched it on USA reruns when my daughter was about 3.
Oh.
And she'd walk around the house and she would sing the song.
Yeah.
And the dongle out there. It was cute. It was hilarious.
It's adorable.
Yeah. And then right after that, they played Walker, Texas Ranger, and she thought it was Jesus.
Oh, yeah. I see that.
Is that Jesus?
Yep.
Well, almost, honey.
Almost Jesus.
It's Chuck Norris.
And then last but not least, both of Adam and I's favorite, Psych.
Totally watch it.
I love Psych.
I let the intro play, and at the end of the show, I let that part of it play too.
Yeah.
All the way through.
All of it.
That's a great one.
What's great is my fiance does not like the show Psych, but he'll stick around for the intro.
There you go. And did you know that the show creator, the writer, Steve Franks, is actually the one who made the song?
I knew that.
And he performed the song.
I think I knew that.
So good for him.
Yeah, that's great.
That may be my favorite because it's just, at least of the ones you mentioned, that's definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
I will watch that one every time. Again, and now my kids, who are much older, not much older, but my 13-year-old daughter, will sing along with it still.
Yeah. I still like Law and Order.
Dun, dun, dun,
bum,
dun,
bum.
dun.
So, Adam, what's happening next week?
Oh, a little Netflix show called Russian Dolls.
Ooh, we're doing Women's Month for March because March is dubbed
Women's Month?
Women's Month, yeah. So
they get 1 month.
We get 1 month out of the year. So we're going to watch all women leads.
Created by Amy Poehler.
Russian Dolls is created by Amy Poehler.
So
it's got the girl from Orange is the New Black, and I can never remember her name because
that one.
My head is bad.
But we'll be watching that one.
We're going to watch that one. It looks, I literally know nothing about it, but it looks
really good.
It looks good.
Interesting, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So we're kicking
I like Amy
off.
Poehler a lot. I'm sure there'll be some. You don't like Amy Poehler?
I love Amy Poehler.
Okay, that look was like.
I was like, you should like Amy Poehler. That was my look. I was like,
okay, that makes sense.
Of course you do. There's no questioning that.
Yeah.
But I'm very excited for it, even though I know nothing about it. I know a little about it.
It's like Groundhog's Day.
Right, but also
acid.
like Black Widow or something.
Yeah.
Throw all
We'll
that
see.
together.
I don't
know. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Maybe it's completely different.
Maybe we'll hate it. I doubt it, but maybe.
Maybe. Who knows? Thank you guys for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and share. If you want to leave us a comment, you can. If you absolutely hated season 3 of True Detective, I don't know what's wrong with you, but you can leave us a comment. That's cool.
Yeah. Leave us a comment on who do you think would win in a fight. Colin Farrell's character from season 2 or Stephen Dorff from season 3.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That's a good one. I already know my answer.
Ray. He's dirty. Stephen Dorff's good, but Ray's dirty.
Dorff was. Have you seen how many guys he took out in that bar?
Yeah, he's like what Wolverine should have been.
Yeah, that's it right there.
Anyways, we will see you bingers next week.
Bye.